Today we are continuing the story of David and Goliath from the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel chapter 17. We will be reading verses 41 through 50. Hello, it is Wednesday, January the 25th, and this is the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene with your daily devotion. Continuing with David and Goliath. Meanwhile, the Philistine, with his shield bearer in front of him, kept coming closer to David. He looked David over and saw that he was little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin. But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, who you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly towards the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. And this is the word of the Lord. The article today is titled "The Language of Worship" by Dustin Metcalf. Here's what Dustin writes. In this text, the cursing anger of Goliath is met with David's language of worship. David's declaration that comes against Goliath in the name of the Lord Almighty is not magic. This is not a special weapon that the people of God can invoke. To think this way is to think we are somehow in control of God, and we know this is not the case. This is a battle of worship. Goliath, with all the arrogance of a man who thinks he is a god, is utterly offended at the sight of David. Goliath wants others to fear him and be in awe of him. He wants to be worshipped. And here comes this boy. David, on the other hand, worships God. In place of the fear and awe of Goliath, we, once again, find David expressing profound allegiance to God. This text ought to remind us that the people of God are not patterned after the angry, violent, self-centered ways of Goliath. These ways are sadly on full display in our world. Instead, we are called to be people who worship God, who follow the pattern Christ set for us. The hymn is "Praise to the Lord the Almighty" by Joachim Neander. Praise to the Lord who doth prosper thy work and defend thee. Ponder anew what the Almighty can do, if with his love he befriends you. And from the book of Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you on the interest of the others. And this is your daily devotion for Wednesday, January the 25th. Have a blessed day.